No need, Jungkook said flatly. Mingyu smiled anyway.
Well, I think you need it. It's not looking that good. He motioned with his eyes toward his cheek. There was a second of pause before Jungkook reached up and took the tissue from him. Then Mingyu added with a chuckle as he looked at In. And you always this clumsy? I remember last time too.
He took a step closer as he said it, his hand rising slightly, like he was going to brush something off in face. But she moved back without thinking.
Her hand flew up first, wiping her lips with the back of it before he could touch her. Mingyu didn't said anything, drop his hand to his side. Didn't expect to see you here, In. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. It's a family thing. I always come. Right, let me rephrase that. Didn't expect you to bring him here. Thought it was just a family gathering. He is family. Since we're dating. Mingyu raised his brows. Oh, it's that serious now, huh? Calling him family already. How long have you known each other? What? 2 days. What's it to you? She snapped before she could stop herself. Nothing really, he chuckled. Was just getting bored and thought I'd drop by to meet the new lovebirds. Soak in the young love vibe. Too bad, Jungkook said before In could open her mouth. We're not interested in keeping you company. Mingyu turned to him, but his smile curved just a little. Oh, come on, for old time's sake. Jungkook's jaw clenched visibly. But I'll admit, Mingyu went on, still looking at him. It was a surprise. Never thought she would be your type. Didn't know we were that close for you to know my type. We used to be close, Mingyu said, which just makes me wonder. Are you doing all this for some kind of payback? Jungkook scoffed. You really think everything's about you? Mingyu laughed softly. Come on, Jungkookie. You and I both know. You've got your own brand of petty. Always too proud to say it out loud, but you feel it. Doesn't it sting? That I'm always first? Jungkook stayed still, face blank. Just tired of playing games with someone who never really stopped playing them. What? No comeback? He scoffed. That's right. You never had much to say, huh? Always just that quiet loser with those worn-out sneakers and second-hand clothes. Always brooding in the back of the class like you were someone special. When really, he leaned in a little, voice turning venomous. You're just the sad little charity case no one invited but somehow still shows up. Are you done? Jungkook deadpan. Double quotes. Not really, just wanted to remind you. You will always come after me. You will never become what I am, because I don't have to chase. People come to me. Opportunities come to me, girls come to me. And you've always just settle for what I leave behind. The silence that followed was heavier than any shout. And was confused, wanted to ask what was it even about. She's sweet, I'll give you that. Mingyu said in a low tone now that only Jungkook could hear. Fiery too. But you should have known. No. Matter how pretty the package is, I've already unwrapped it. Jungkook knuckles flexed at his sides. I dated her first. Didn't get far. Shame, really. She had this habit of pulling away at the last second, no matter how close you got.
He clicked his tongue. But maybe you're the lucky one.
Maybe she actually open her legs for you. Jungkook moved without thinking. One hand slammed against his chest, shoving him back. The other fisted in his collar, yanking him forward with enough force that the smugness disappeared from his face in a flash. What did you just say, Fishay? Mingyu said, still the same temper. Say one more word like that, and I'll make sure the next thing you eat is through a straw. That wiped that grin off his face. I don't care what games you played with me before. You think just because you smile while you stab people, it makes you clever. It doesn't, it just makes you a coward. Mingyu scoffed under his breath, but Jungkook leaned in. Just a spoiled coward hiding behind your daddy's name and your fucked up ego. His jaw twitched, but he didn't get the chance to say anything when Jungkook was shoving him back. If you want to play, go back to the toys in your room. Mingyu eyes narrowed, his fists flexing at his sides. You always were a little dramatic, he muttered at last, trying to find his footing in the conversation again. All this over a girl? Know all this because you don't know when to shut your mouth? Jungkook spat, but he knew better to create a scene. He was glad that no one saw them fighting. He didn't really want to create a scene, not until he tried to provoke him wrongly. He watched the other boy walked away and he closed his eyes. When he felt a warm touch on his arm, he looked towards her. She was concerned, confused, and all the other emotions written all over her face. She was just looked at him like she was trying to piece together a puzzle she didn't know existed. Jungkook offered a small shake of his head, but what's surprising was she just nodded her head. She always asked. Always poked and pried, even if half of it was out of pure stubbornness and the other half was just her being her chaotic sunshine self. But this time, she didn't. You okay? He stared at her for a long moment, then looked away. Yeah, he gave me a headache. So should I give you painkillers? Or you want to leave this place and grab street food? Gonna force me to stay or grill me with questions? Nope, she said, popping the pea. Not unless you want to talk, but I'm not gonna poke a sleeping bear. Especially one with murder in his eyes. Jungkook blinked, then laughed a low chuckle that seemed to start from somewhere deep in his chest. You're weird. I get that a lot, she grinned. And just like that, his anger became to settle. The night air was cooler than expected, but it felt nice against his skin. The streets outside were quiet as they walked, both holding small paper trays filled with food from a street vendor. She dragged him to like a child, pulling her grumpy babysitter. She was munching noisily beside him, switching between sweet potato balls and corn dogs like she couldn't pick a favorite. Hey, she said, pointing her chopsticks at his food. Feed me. No. What do you mean no? Eat yours. But we have different flavors. How cruel can you be when it comes to food? He rolled his eyes, chewing slower now as she kept walking. You know, I always wanted to sneak out during one of these gathering, just disappear for a few hours. Do something cool, but every time my parents would be like, she switched to a mocking voice. It's just one day, please behave. Represent the family. He tried not to laugh at her impersonation. He failed. She rolled her eyes. Mingyu never wanted to sneak out. Always had this thing about looking perfect. Too worried about being the golden boy. He said nothing. She didn't even notice the slight shift in his shoulders when she mentioned him again. What if your mom gets mad we ditched? He asked after a beat, popping another bite in his mouth. Oh, I'll just say you weren't feeling well. She grinned, licking some sugar off her thumb. Honestly, I think she likes you already. I don't think so. She just seems like a polite lady who talks like that to everyone. She scoffed. Trust me, she can be savage. You know if she didn't like you. She'd probably call you disrespectful with her smile still on. But tonight, she was impressed. He raised a brow. By what? Me, she smirked. And my outfit choice for you. Look how sharp you look. I saved you from that whole emo boy look. I don't look like an emo boy, he muttered. You do. She argued, and he was about to tell her he doesn't again, but it was interrupted when she stumbled, letting out a soft curse as her heel caught something on the pavement. He reached out on instinct, catching her by the elbow before she could twist it or fall. Careful, these stupid straps, she grumbled, bending to fix them. But she couldn't quite get the angle, and he didn't think twice.
He knelt down, brushing her hands away gently. I got it.
The strap twisted near her ankle, and he was careful. His fingers worked slowly, fixing it back into place while she stood above him, quiet for once. When he rose again, they were close. Closer than they've been all night. Their hands brushed, just lightly, but enough for both of them to stiffen, her eyes wide when he finally looked up at her. The streetlight caught the edge of her face, and he could see how flushed her cheeks were. And he felt it too. That stupid flutter somewhere deep in his chest. She looked away first, stuffing her mouth with the corn dog double quotes. Thanks, she mumbled. He stepped away too, the awkwardness was back. He stayed quiet, for a beat longer, watching her with the edge of his vision. Until she start rambling again about the random stories, and they fell back into the same rhythm like nothing happened. It's been a week. 7 full days since that weird, heated moment between Jungkook and Mingyu, and still. She had no clue what it was really about. She didn't ask. Not because she wasn't curious. I was dying inside. But because, for once, she could tell it wasn't something he wanted to talk about. And honestly, she didn't want to push him away just because she couldn't keep her mouth shut. Actually, that night, after all that tension and silence, after they end up sneaking out, that was the moment she knew she was enjoying this more than she should, more than she planned, more than she wanted to admit. Even when he's grumpy or pretending not to care, there's something about the way he always gives in eventually. How he lets her win, how he fights it at first, only to sigh dramatically and then do exactly what she asked. It's ridiculous, but also stupidly adorable. And now, here they are. A week later, walking side by side down the quiet road to his house. His house, y'all must be wondering. So here's the thing, she woke up late at last minute and ended up forgetting to make his lunch. Which means she hadn't prepared for his dinner too, which was the last day according to their deal. The conversation in the school before went something like this. What is this? Jungkook asked when she gave past him the tray. I forgot to pack your lunch, okay? She said, sitting beside him in the cafeteria. Not my headache, he muttered, not even looking at her. Groaned. Okay, rude. I brought you cafeteria food. I'm not eating that. Excuse me, I saw what you bought. It looked like regret on a tray. I was in a rush. It's not that bad. He just gave her a look. One of those looks that said, I'd rather starve. Single quotes. So naturally she huffed again. Fine, I'll make you something tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yes, redemption day. Let me make up for it. What am I supposed to do today? Starve? I don't know. What did you do before I started making you food? I used to eat cold ramen. That's depressing. Sometimes I didn't eat at all. That's worse. That's child abuse. No one abused me. I was just lazy. Well, I'm not letting you starve. That's why being a perfect fake girlfriend. I brought you food. Like I said, I'm not eating that. She turned to him with narrowed eyes. But he cut her off. But I have planned, which is? You're coming home with me, Jungkook said. You're home? She asked, confused and surprised by the sudden offer. Why would I go to your home? He looked at her like she was the slow one. Because you owe me dinner. No. She said. He raised his brow and she grumbled. Okay, fine. You're home. Whatever. We're going. You're eating. I'll cook. The end. He looked at her for a long second, lips twitching, like he was fighting a smile he'd rather die than show her. Now, when they reached near his house, Jungkook unlocked the door and pushed it open, stepping aside to let her in first. It's a little messy. In eyes scanning the space. It wasn't messy at all, just lived in. There were a few shoes by the door, a half-folded hoodie tossed on the couch, and an empty coffee mug on the small center table. It's fine, she said as she slipped her shoes off. He shut the door behind them, ruffling his hair like he was embarrassed. You're just saying that to make me feel better. It's not big like yours. She furrowed her brows and turned to look at him properly. That doesn't matter. As long as you have your own space, why does it matter if it's small or big? He leaned a shoulder against the wall and crossed his arms, his eyes flicking away for a second like he wasn't used to hearing that. Well, not everyone thinks the same. She stepped closer and nudged his arm with her elbow. Since when do you give a damn what people think? He huffed a quiet breath through his nose and looked down at her. I don't. She smiled softly, like she knew he meant that. Even if part of him still kinda did. I want a full house tour after I'm done cooking, she said as she moved toward the kitchen like she owned the place. It's my first time here. I deserve the grand welcome. There's nothing much to see, he called after her. Pretty sure you can see the whole thing standing in one spot. Well then, she called back, opening cabinets, I'll just turn slowly in a dot circle till I've seen it all. He followed her into the kitchen. Don't get dizzy. I don't have a first dot aid kit. Wow, 5 stars, excellent host, she deadpanned. At least Dot helped me find the things. You'll figure it out. I don't know where anything is, Jungkook. It's fun then, isn't? She rolled her eyes and yanked open the fridge. You don't even have Dot anything in here. I thought you were lying when you said you don't Dot eat much.
He leaned back against the counter.
Why would you think I was lying? I don't know. Because you lie about other stuff? He tilted his head. Like what? She shrugged. I don't know. I don't even know much about you. Speaking of which, do you live alone? He blinked. Why? You seeing someone else behind my back? She turned to him with a flat look. Never a straight answer with you? Oh, but when you do it, you think it's funny. She narrowed her eyes. So you're taking revenge? If you want to call it that? She huffed and rolled her eyes, grabbing a glass but not bothering to fill it. Instead, she leaned forward and drank straight from the tap. Jungkook raised a brow. You could sit down for a while before you start. You know, it's not going anywhere. She wiped her mouth with the back of her hand. Yeah, well, who knows what you'll say if I rest a little. You already dragged me here.
He scoffed. You're acting like I forced you. You did.
She spun to face him. You basically held me at gunpoint, I asked you once. With your eyes, you threatened me with your eyes. I said, you forgot my lunch, and now suddenly I'm a criminal. Don't act innocent. You guilt-tripped me. He crossed his arms across his chest. You literally didn't even protest. You usually do when things don't go your way. Because I want to make it up to you. And then she froze. Oops. Too late. His head tilted again, lips curving in the slowest, cockiest grin she ever seen. She looked away fast. I mean, because you looked so pathetic today. Sure, he said, still grinning. I felt bad. Obviously, you were so hungry, like a kicked puppy. Right. You're welcome, by the way, she said, tossing him a dish towel like that could distract him from the way her cheeks were starting to heat, but he caught eyes still settle on her.
And this is my bedroom.
Jungkook's voice was flat as he pushed. The door opened, stepping to the side so he could peek in. It was plain. Minimal. He sounded like he was showing her a crime scene. Not a place where he probably collapsed every night after pretending he wasn't exhausted.
He scratched the back of his neck and muttered, Told you it's not much. Don't know what you were so excited to see.
She turned back to him, and he was still standing at the corner of the room. Hands in his pockets. His shoulders were tense. What? His eyes flicked up like she just caught him doing something wrong. You don't really seem comfortable, she said slowly. Am I invading your space?
He opened his mouth, then stopped. No, it's not that.
It's just, he let out a quiet breath. It's been a while. Since someone was here, she tilted her head. What do you mean?
He gestured vaguely. As you can see, I live alone.
She didn't say anything right away. She didn't know what to say, really. He wasn't the type who talked about himself like this. I don't invite people, he added. I don't have friends coming over. He waved his hand again, this time toward the couch in the living room, the kitchen. The half-done laundry basket in the hallway. This is usually just me. I see, she said softly, because what else could she say? He wasn't asking for pity. Just being honest. The last person who came here was Mingyu, he added after a second. Her ears perked up at his name. She looked up at him carefully. You two were friends? You can say that. Or maybe I was his friend. He let out a dry sound. Not really the other way round. She waited. He looked past her, somewhere over her shoulder. Back in school, 6 years ago if I remember right. We met in this stupid group project. Started hanging out with a few guys. Mingyu was one of them?
He was the only one I ever let come here. We'd hang out, joke around. He helped me out sometimes. Helped? Jungkook rubbed his jaw.
I wasn't exactly doing well back then. I'd worked part-time. Just a cashier job to buy things I needed just to get by. I was 14 that time. I didn't tell people that, kept to myself, but Mingyu,
He figured it out, started helping. He paused. I didn't want help.
But he told me that's what friends do, right?
He had money, a lot of it. Never flaunted it, but
You could feel it. I thought it didn't matter. When we turned 16, something changed, he said. I don't know what triggered it. What happened?
he asked. There was a pause again, and then he sighed.
This is dumb. It's not, she said. Tell me. I had a crush, he said simply. Nothing serious, just stupid teenage stuff. Just this girl we both had class with. She was smart. I told him about her, how I wanted to ask her to hang out, but I never had the guts that time. She knew what was coming. But she let him talk. One day, I found out he'd already hooked up with her, Jungkook said, tone flat. Didn't even tell me. I overheard it from someone else. I didn't even care about the girl at that point. But it was the way he did it, knowing how I felt. That's what got me. So he was asshole from the start. I would have even let that go. He was a friend I got, so I brushed it off. Told myself it didn't matter. But then he started throwing little comments. About me, testing how much I could take, like last week. She remembered it now, the tension between them. The way Mingyu looked at Jungkook, the smugness in his tone. It was then I realizing he wasn't a friend. Just someone who liked feeling bigger than me, so I left. So why does he hate you? You should beat the hell out of him, but he acts like you wronged him. That's the funny part. He turned to face her. Someone snitched about his habits to his dad. The parties, the stuff he did behind his dad back. And he thinks it was me. Was it? Double quotes, no. I swear it wasn't me. But I let him believe it. Let him stew in it. Why? He shrugged, because now he won't come near me again. He'll stay pissed, stay as far as possible, and that's exactly how I want it, double quotes. Done, she bit her lip, guilt kicking in. Why didn't you mention any of this before? I mean, I practically dragged you into facing him again. All because of me. It doesn't really matter.
But his presence doesn't affect me, so I'm chill.
He added with a soft shake of his head. Still, she didn't like it. I shouldn't have pushed it. I'm sorry.
He sighed, finally looking at her, and there was something unguarded in his eyes this time.
It's not really anything you should beat yourself up over.
You sure? Yes, he said. I'm sure 100%. I'm sure.
100%. A breath she didn't realize she was holding slipped out of her. She didn't know why she felt so relieved. Maybe because he let her in a little. Maybe because, for once, it felt like they were on the same page. Maybe because now they officially shared a mutual enemy. So, we both hate Mingyu now? She offered with a crooked smile. Looks like it. She turned around, trying not to look like she was snooping as she wandered to the side of the room, pretending to examine a random wall shelf with books and dusty action figures. Then she spotted something. A little splash of red and gold sticking out from under the bed. Is that Iron Man on a sock? Shit. He looked where she was pointing, and yep. Traitor's sock. Betraying him from the shadows. Yeah, he said flatly. Tour's over. Please exit the premises before I start charging you, she snorted. Do you wear those? Like, unironically? Okay, enough, time to leave, he said, but she just giggled and he didn't really mind. Not until she gasped, and he knows she saw something worse. Wait, is that? She didn't even finish the sentence. Just gasped like she found treasure and bolted inside the open closet. Why? And he almost half yelled. Is that a Spider-Man costume? No, he said too fast. I'm sure it was double quotes. He stepped in front of it like a bodyguard.
It's nothing. You dress up as Spider-Man? It was for Halloween 2 years ago. Embarrassing.
He should have hidden it well. He should have cleaned his room. You liar. This isn't about Halloween. You've been hiding a whole Peter Parker identity. I swear to God. She managed to flung open the closet door with a wild laugh just as he grabbed her waist to stop her, both of them stumbling as the door slammed open. And there it was. The full-body red and blue suit hanging neatly, as if on standby for a superhero emergency. With the mask, she snatched it from the hanger like it was a trophy, her eyes sparkling with pure evil. Stop, he groaned, trying to snatch it out from her hands. Ugh, this is so cute. I want to see you wearing it. I swear, I'll throw you out of this house. Please, she laughed again. You are so adorable. I'm not. You kind of are. His eyes narrowed at her as he tried to grab the mask from her, but she twirled away from him, giggling loudly. Her energy was chaos. She was light and motion and everything he usually didn't know how to handle, but damn if he wasn't chasing after her anyway. She squeaked. When he finally get a hold of her wrist, the closet WA sends single quotes to the big, so he end up pressing her against the closet wall. She was still giggling, not acknowledging the proximity, but he was standing in front of her, close, way too close. But she didn't move away. Closet clothes swayed around them. When she looked up, her laugh was still stuck in her throat. His was trying not to come out. They were way too close again. Her hands slowly curled against his chest from trying to escape. His head was tilted just slightly down toward her, breathing heavier than he should have been. Her grin slowly faded as her eyes met hers, and she was trying not to stare at her mouth. Shit. He realized suddenly that they've been doing this, whatever this was, for a while now. The teasing, the jabs, the tiny moments that were slowly starting to feel not so tiny anymore. He didn't even have to move. He just had to lean down a few inches, but he didn't, because this was the feeling he was avoiding, that slippery, stupid feeling in his chest that told me he was already in too deep.
He swallowed. His voice was rough, way too low.
Do you still want this arrangement to go on? God, it sounded stupid now that it was out, but he needed to know. Needed to stop walking this line before it swallowed him whole. If she said no, he would stop. He would back off. Because he knows somewhere he doesn't want to go back to being alone. The feeling of her beside him. Is it really fake anymore? And was staring at him. He was always gruff and distant and annoyingly sarcastic, but now he looked like a boy who was standing at the edge of something terrifying, waiting to see if he should take the step or turn around. You were right, she swallowed, voice coming out quieter. When you said the whole fake dating thing was stupid. She could see the flicker of something on his face that almost looked like disappointment. It was almost laughable, really. For days, she'd wanted to read him, understand what went on behind that cold face. And now, when he let his guard down just for a moment, she could see it all so clearly. Like a page left open just for her. Yeah? His eyes flickered down, the disappointed was evident in his voice. Quotes? Is it really fake anymore? She whispered, heard hammering against her ribs faster. His gaze met hers, eyes searching, like he needed her to say it, again just to believe it, the tension in his shoulders shifting, melting. He leaned in, just slightly, breath brushing against her cheek warm. So, it's not just me? She shook her head barely. His gaze dropped to her lips, then back up like he was making sure she was still standing there. Do you... He was hesitant now. Do you want to go out with me? She blinked, not sure she heard him right. Like, for real this time? He added, more sure now. Their noses brushed. His hand tightened on her waist. She could feel his heart through his shirt. Or maybe hers. Or maybe both. You're burning up, she mumbled. I can smell the smoke. His lips brushing hers barely like a question, not a kiss. That's not me, he whispered back. Must be the food. A smile formed on her lips parting, welcoming the heat of his lips until both of them froze at the same time. The food. My kitchen.